Imagine the medical landscape when the modern safety net has been shredded, and the local emergency room is nothing more than a hollowed-out monument. To a lost civilization, what do you do when a basic wound begins to turn the color of a bruised plum and smells like a dumpster in the height of summer? The floor of our reality just fell out, and the weight of the aftermath is suffocating. There are no more triage desks, no sterilized bandages, and certainly no professional staff to hold your hand. The power grid didn't just fail, it vanished. You're trapped in a damp cellar watching neon-tinged rain fall outside, and it suddenly hits you that expensive survival kit you bought online is just a box of overpriced stickers and false hope. Don't panic yet. We are diving into the gritty reality of frontier medicine today on Victor's Logic. It is time to treat your survival like a high-stakes chemistry experiment where you are the only surgeon left on Earth. These specific supplies represent the thin line between a minor scar and a slow, agonizing end. We begin with the chemical zipper, better known as ethyl cyanoacrylate. You need to look past those not-for-medical-use warnings on your tube of industrial superglue. In a world where authorities are a distant memory, a lethal hemorrhage is a much more pressing concern than regulatory compliance. But here is the critical insight. Most amateurs overlook glue has a breaking point chemically. This substance builds a plastic bridge by pulling moisture from its surroundings. It's a miracle worker for a clean slice on a flat surface, like your forearm. However, if you apply it to a high-tension area, think your knuckles, knees, or elbows, it will snap like a brittle weld the moment you flex. To fix that, use the glue to secure the skin edges, but reinforce the entire site with makeshift butterfly strips cut from heavy-duty tape. If it's directly on a moving joint, you're stuck with needles and thread, but for everything else, that glue is your biological fastener. Next, we move to the alchemy of the C-chitosan. Stop relying on standard gauze in a crisis. Gauze is just a sponge that lets you watch your life leak out. In high definition, you require hemostatic power, specifically bulk chitosan powder. The physics here is beautiful. This powder carries a positive charge. While your red blood cells are negatively charged, when they collide, they create an electrostatic attraction that forces a clot to form. Almost instantly it functions, even if your body is too cold or exhausted to clot on its own. The laws of physics do the heavy lifting for you. Shove the powder deep into the cavity, pack it tight with the cleanest cloth you have, and maintain heavy pressure. If the red keeps coming after 3 minutes, you've shredded an artery and need to escalate your tactics immediately. Then there is the Israeli emergency bandage, the undisputed duct tape of trauma. Toss those flimsy drugstore pads. This is the gear used by medics when someone is losing blood faster than a politician loses credibility. Bleeding out usually happens because of inconsistent pressure, not the wound. This bandage features an integrated plastic pressure bar. You wrap it, loop it through the clip, and pull back hard. It cinches down. It's designed for one-handed use, which is vital in a crisis, when your other hand is busy keeping your vitals inside your body. According to the data we track here at Victor's Logic, coffee and gold won't mean a thing when the world ends, but a stack of 6 pressure bandages will be the ultimate currency when your supply of antibiotic cream inevitably runs dry. Head to the kitchen. For the osmotic executioner, combine 70% white sugar with 30% povidone iodine. To create sugardine, the biology here is ruthless. Bacteria are tiny balloons filled with water. The sugar creates such an intense osmotic pull that it literally drags the fluid out of the bacteria until they shrivel. The iodine then steps in for the final chemical strike. This is 1800s technology that will outperform a $50 pharmaceutical tube. Slather it on thick, wrap the wound, and watch the rot retreat. Don't ignore the fishmox loophole. When pharmacies are looted, pet supply stores become the new gold mines. Medications like fishmox or fish flex are frequently the exact same chemical compounds used in human medicine, but don't just swallow pills at random. Amoxicillin won't touch a staph infection. If you're dealing with a chest infection that smells like a moldy crawlspace, you need augmentin. The clavulinate in that mix acts like a locksmith breaking down enzymes. Without it, the germs will just treat your penicillin like a snack. Map out which pill kills which pathogen before the lights go out. Our 6th essential is potassium permanganate, the purple god of the wasteland. These dark crystals are the ultimate multi-tool for chemical stability. Dropping just a few grains into a gallon of water turns it pink, making it safe to clean a wound without adding new parasites. Darken that solution to a deep purple for a powerhouse antifungal treatment. For the trench foot you'll get from living in damp boots. For survivalists looking for an edge, mix these crystals with glycerin. It will spontaneously combust into purple flames. It cleans your water, heals your skin, and builds your fires. If this isn't in your pack, you aren't preparing, you're just collecting clutter. Seventh, we have vented chest seals. View this through physics versus biology. A hole in the torso is an atmospheric pressure crisis before surgery. The air around us is pushing at over 14 pounds per square inch, and your lung is a fragile balloon that will collapse under weight. That's a pneumothorax. Do not just tape a flat piece of plastic over the hole. You'll trap air inside, creating a tension event that eventually stops your heart. You need a vented seal with a valve that lets air out when you breathe but blocks it coming in. In an emergency, tape a plastic square on 3 sides, bottom open. It's a rugged way to keep your lungs working while environment crushes. Eighth on the list is the nasopharyngeal airway, or the tongue bypass. It's a myth that people swallow their tongues. The muscle goes limp and slides back to seal the throat when someone is out cold. You can't save someone who isn't moving air. Use a flexible tube. You slide through the nostril to create a clear path to lungs. A word of caution: look for Battle's sign, bruising behind the ears. If you see that the skull might be cracked, causing brain trauma. If there's clear fluid leaking from the nose, leave NPA in bag, roll them on their side and pray. Finally, we arrive at the most critical asset, the Pigfoot protocol. This supply has no weight because it is pure procedural mastery. Most people who own a tourniquet will use it incorrectly, actually increasing the bleeding by stopping the low-pressure veins, while the high-pressure arteries keep pumping. Others will waste antibiotics on a viral cold. Here is a pro tip: embrace permissive hypotension. If a person has a deep puncture, don't try to jack their blood pressure back to a healthy level. You'll just blow out the internal scabs you're trying to form. Keep the pressure low until the leak is plugged. Go to a butcher, buy pig feet, and practice your suturing and knots until your fingers don't think. When the room is dark and a loved one is fading, your tactical gear is just plastic junk without the hands. You are the ultimate medical resource. The world is quiet, the hospitals are gone, and the thin veneer of civilization has cracked. But in your small corner of the darkness, the bleeding has stopped, and the lungs are still moving. You didn't make it because you had the flashiest bag. You made it because you mastered logic. When the radio finally crackles and a voice asks who is left, you can look at your trained, steady hands and realize you are the new foundation of the world. No doctors required, just science, grit, and the refusal to die. Stay tuned to Victor's Logic for more ways to master the chaos.